the Round Ball Rock Podcast Free Agency Spectacular, starring Dave Schilling, Julius Randle, Taj Gibson, Joey Devine, John McEnroe, Reggie Bullock, Sean Keane, Larry David, Bobby Fists of Fury Portis, musical guest JD and the Straight Shot, and now the temporary host of Round Ball Rock, Joey Devine.
Hi, it's me, Joey Devine, your temporary host of Round Ball Rock, and we are here with a free agency madness episode. It is 12:32 a.m. on Monday morning. After the wildest day in NBA history, I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Sean Keane. Sean, how are you?
I'm good. I'm a little overwhelmed.
I'm incredibly overwhelmed.
So I
know one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Goran Dragic did not get traded. That is the one thing I know.
Because the Dallas Mavericks are just a great organization.
We'll get to that, though. What were you going to say, Sean?
Oh, I got assigned to write a column about free agency, but I was working tonight, so I also, I wrote a thing this morning, and then Katie went to the Nets and everything got really crazy, and so I wrote a new thing starting at 2:30 Pacific, and then I finished it, but then I had to rewrite it because some other stuff happened. And then I'd submitted it. It went live, and then the Warriors put together a sign-in trade, so I had to rewrite it again on my phone, and ended up dictating stuff to my editor, and I felt like I was covering the 1906 World Series or something. I was like, D'Angelo Russell, see? He's a Splash nephew now, see? Anyway, that's why the column has a lot of C's in it, where you're like, why would you be doing that? Anyway, it was I still don't really understand what most teams did. There's one team that makes perfect sense to me, and there's only a little bit of confusion, and that's the Milwaukee Bucks.
Hey, hold on. Don't. We'll get to all that later.
Okay.
We have to do stuff at the top.
You're right.
First off, hey, we've had a pretty good month here, listenership-wise. And if you're new to the show, first off, thanks for listening. But secondly, please feel free to give us 5 stars on whatever podcast catcher. On iTunes. Give us 5 stars on iTunes. Nothing less, and unfortunately nothing more. iTunes does not allow you to give 12 stars, which is really frustrating for us. Also, we want to hear from you at RoundRockPod on Twitter or at RoundRockPod@gmail.com. And also, if you think we're good enough to help us eat food, you can always donate money to our Patreon. Which is available at patreon.com/roundrockpod. $5 a month gets you an extra episode a week, and after this week, we're going down to 2 episodes a week, one free episode a week for a while. So you might want to download if you want the Sean and Joey in your life that you'll be missing. We also have a phone number. Right, Sean?
We do.
Yeah, sorry.
I was like, yeah, we do.
And
got a call. We've had some calls recently.
Yeah. Before I play that call, though, I want to tell the listeners, please give us a call and leave us a message It's 323-682-0342. And just a little hint for you listeners. Sometimes Sean forgets we have a phone number and he answers the phone. So
yeah, well, it doesn't.
If you want to talk to Sean,
I mean, it's true. I should know that there's no reason to ever pick up my phone.
Mm-hmm.
But occasionally it'll be somebody I know, and I'm like, oh, that's weird that they'd be calling me, and then I realize as I'm picking up that they're trying to call the Google Voice number, which directs directly to my phone.
But anyway, we have, Sean, a very sinister call, I would say.
Yeah.
There's a Twitter account that Sean and I discovered.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been trying to give it as much. It's one of my favorite Twitters. It's called @LakersPaladin. And he's like a mix of a conspiracy theorist and a Lakers fan. Is that how you'd explain it? He's like
yeah.
He's like if QAnon were only about Rob Pelinka.
That's a really good description, and he's like a truth seeker, kind of. He supports like. I'm trying to think of how he would. No, it is like QAnon, and Rob Pelinka is like the Hillary Clinton
and the John D. Podesta.
I
would say Pelinka is the John D. Podesta, and Jeannie Buss is the Hillary Clinton, right?
Well, no, she's like. It's more like his worldview is that Rob Pelinka is like the Rasputin, and Jeannie Buss is like the Tsarina.
Yeah.
And the Lakers franchise is the sick little boy that no one else can heal.
Anyway, we started giving this. We literally do not know the person who runs this account. And it's not one of us.
Yeah.
And we started giving it retweets.
Much like the Scoop, people think.
Yeah. Much like the Scoop, people think it's us, but I swear to God, it's not.
Can I read you just a recent Lakers Paladin tweet?
Yes.
I will never stop standing up to Rob Pelinka, Linda Rambis, her husband, and Jeannie Buss! ! I will always fight for hashtag Laker Nation, hashtag the Paladin promise. And before that, now I'll be able to get my LeBron 23 jersey on sale. Glad I waited a year. Hashtag patience saves Paladin pockets. Hashtag fine assets. Hashtag Paladin principles. So he's doing like a little more branding, he or she.
Yeah, it could be a she. Some other good Lakers Paladin tweets. On draft night, he tweeted, "I like Zion's choice to not wear a tie. Be comfortable, young man. This is your day."
That was good. And my favorite Lakers Paladin tweet of all, my nephew who told me to start this account has me blocked now.
Anyway, we started retweeting Lakers Paladin, and he started listening to the show.
Apparently.
Or she, apparently. Anyway, we got a call from Lakers Paladin, and we're going to play it right now. I think that's enough backstory for the listeners, correct?
He or she does appear to be using some sort of device or software to anonymize his or her voice, their voice.
So yeah, let's play that call from Lakers Paladin right now.
Yeah.
This is Lakers Paladin. I'm calling as free agency approaches because I have some very, very serious news that I don't want to put out on my Twitter feed for fear of reprisal from the dark forces within the Lakers organization. I believe that Rob Pelinka is behind all of the negative press so as to kind of build up a rise of the Phoenix situation when he signed a good player come free agency. He executed the Anthony Davis trade, but he's been very silent. Poisonous Pelinka is still among us, and I'm very concerned, but I can't put this on Twitter. I need someone with a huge platform like Roundball Rock to disseminate this information, because if I put it on Twitter, Genie and Pelinka will get me out of there. And I need to keep speaking smaller truths on my Twitter account. This is very important. It's very, very important, because Rob Pelinka is about to just take over the Lakers organization and continue to slander the legend Magic Johnson and make it look like everything was Magic's fault. Magic is not good at his job. I can see. Oh, okay, I think somebody's coming. I have to go.
Sean, who did Lakers Paladin say is coming? I got everything but that.
I could not tell. I mean, I would think it would be, maybe it was Kurt Rambis, or as he refers to him, Linda Rambis' husband. Who is less powerful in the Lakers organization? Look, okay, sometimes I think the Lakers Paladin might be a little bit paranoid, and then I realize that the Lakers have a shadow owner. Mm-hmm. So, like...
who Kawhi won't meet with.
Mm-hmm.
They also have a shadow president now.
Yes,
because Kawhi is meeting with Magic Johnson, but he doesn't work there anymore.
Well, I wonder if it's like the Skull and Bones Society, where if someone asks you if you're in Skull and Bones, you have to like immediately leave the room. Which again, would just tip to Skull and Bones. You're kind of giving away that you're in Skull and Bones by doing such a dramatic thing.
Hey, be nice to Skull and Bones.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right.
I'm in Skull and Bones. Whoops!
No, the podcast is over.
Anything else you want to say about Lakers Paladin other than everyone follow Lakers Paladin?
Lakers Paladin. It's easy to remember.
All right. Should we start this? What is ostensibly going to be a 3-hour podcast of us just naming moves?
Yeah, it's like an orgy, but not like the fun kind.
Yeah, this is tedious for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, some of the moves were fun as they were going on, but recapping them now, ugh. Who am I? The Danny LaRue?
Look, let's not bother with fucking details, except if we're like, yeah. Well, I mean, we should say how much the money is for, but other than that,
all right, let's go to free agency.
It's time for free agency. And this is not a time for robots. Robots have no agency. So take it away, Jim Gray.
Well, everybody is on pins and needles across the country. Would you like to sleep on it a little longer? Or are you ready to make this decision? You were able to be recruited because you went straight to the NBA from high school. So have you enjoyed this recruiting process now? How many people know your decision right now? When did you decide? So the last time you changed your mind was yesterday? So does the team that you're going to, that you'll announce in a few minutes, do they know your decision? Do you have any doubts about your decision? Well, you've had everybody else biting their nails, so I guess it's time for them to stop chewing. The answer to the question everybody wants to know, what's your decision?
I believe in the 4-point line. I believe soup is the perfect food. I believe in a Belichick-Popovich presidential ticket. I believe that every DiCaprio movie would be just a little bit better as a Matt Damon movie.
Free agency.
All right, Sean. How do you want to do this?
I think we should go by teams, because otherwise it's just like we'll keep having to go back to the teams.
You know what I want to do first, actually? We have an incomplete list here, but it's a pretty complete list. I think we should take turns saying half of the list Micro Machine style and see how fast who can do it faster. Do you want the left side or the right side?
I'll take the right side.
Okay. Let me set up a timer here real quick.
Yeah.
Or
are we going to trade off? We each do our blast.
We're going to do our blast. We're going to see how fast we can do it, and then because at least this will be something fun. Maybe, I don't know. Is this
the whole
fun?
thing's going to be really fun, Joey.
Okay, good. All right, you do the left side. Go.
Wait, I'm doing the left side? Okay.
Oh, sorry, the right side. Okay, ready? Go.
Jeremy Lamb, Pacers, 3 years, $31.5 million. Damian Lillard, Trailblazers, 6 years, $258 million. Brooke Lopez, Bucks, 4 years, $52. Robin Lopez, Bucks, 2 years, $9.8. Chris Middleton, Bucks, 5 years, $178. Jamal Murray, Nuggets, 5 year, $170. Mike Muscala, Thunder, unknown. Kristaps Porzingis, Mavericks, 5, $158. Bobby Portis, Knicks, $231. What? Dwight Powell, Mavericks, 3 year, $33. Julius Randle, Knicks, 3 year, $63. JJ Redick, Pelicans, 2 year, $26.5. Derrick Rose, Pistons, 2 year, $15. Terrence Ross, Magic, 4 year, $54. Terry Rozier, Hornets, 3 year, $58. Ricky Rubio, Suns, 3 year, $51. D'Angelo Russell, Warriors, 4 year, $117. Mike Scott, Sixers, 2 year, $9.8. Garrett Temple, Nets, 2 years, $10. Klay Thompson, Warriors, 5 years, $190. Jonas Valanciunas, Grizzlies, 3 year, $45. Nikola Vucevic, Magic, 4 year, $100. Kemba Walker, Celtics, 4 years, $141. Thaddeus Young, Bulls, 3 year, $41.
Okay, you did that in 53 seconds. 53 seconds.
Okay, great.
All right. Al-Farouq Aminu, Magic, 3 year, $29. Trevor Ariza, Kings, 2 year, $25. Harrison Barnes, Kings, 4 year, $85. Patrick Beverley, Clippers, 3 years, $40. Bojan Bogdanovic, Jazz, 4 year, $73. Malcolm Brogdon, Pacers, 4 year, $85. Thomas Bryant, Wizards, 3 years, $25 million. Reggie Bullock, Knicks, 2 year, $21 million. Jimmy Butler, Heat, 4 year, $141 million. Damari Carroll, Spurs, 2 year, $13 million. Sounds pretty good. Ed Davis, Jazz, 2 year, $10 million. Dwayne Dedman, Kings, 3 years, $40 million. Kevin Durant, Nets, 4 years, $164. Rudy Gay, Spurs, 2 years, $32 million. Taj Gibson, Knicks, 2 years, $20 million. Gerald Green, Rockets, 1 year, ? Tobias Harris, Sixers, 5 years, $180 million. Mario Hezonja, Trailblazers, 2 years, $3.6 million. George Hill, Bucks, 3 years, $29 million. Rodney Hood, Trailblazers, 2 years, $16 million. Al Horford, Sixers, 4 years, $109 million. Danuel House, Rockets, 3 years, $11 million. Kyrie Irving's a net. DeAndre Jordan, Nets, 4 years, $40 million? Huh? All right, that was a minute 15.
Look, you had Al-Farouq Aminu and Bojan Bogdanovic, your first 5 names. Which is some bullshit.
All right. Let's go team by team. Sean,
yes.
What happened with the Milwaukee Bucks today?
Okay, the Milwaukee Bucks. They kept Chris Middleton, who got a 5 year, $178 million contract, which apparently is one of the largest.
It's the third
contracts.
largest contract ever.
It's like it's crazy to look at this because when it first got reported, it was like he was a second round pick and he just signed the largest non-supermax in NBA history, I think. And then Tobias Harris signed a larger contract. So basically, they kept Chris Middleton. They kept Brooke Lopez. They ended up keeping George Hill.
Mm-hmm. Surprising. Also, George Hill got paid a lot more money than I thought he was going to get.
Yeah, but I'm like, that seems pretty good. No, I don't know any of the options or non-guarantees on these things. Like,
we don't care about that, though. That's for Slammed Up. There's a reason Slammed Up exists, and I'll
bring up the one I know when it comes up, but it's not a big deal. But the most important thing they did was they added Robin Lopez.
Hell yeah, dude. He also tweeted about the sorting hat today.
Yes, we should get into that. So let me just read you his original tweet.
While you're finding that tweet, I do want to bring up, I saw a tweet going around today where someone was like, hey, just a reminder, Robin and Brooke have 2 cats that hate each other, and that's why they can't live together. And I'm like, they're also grown men.
Well,
sort of.
Yes. But at the time their cats weren't getting along and they both lived in New York, Brooke Lopez was living with a different brother of his. So, yes, I get it.
I mean, I get why the third Lopez brother has to live with one of the Lopez brothers. Yeah. But the two millionaire ones definitely don't have to live together.
I'm just saying that Brooke is a millionaire and chose to live with one of his brothers, so it's New York City. It's very expensive. So Robin Lopez tweeted, "This has all been very exciting, but this would be so much more fun if done by Sorting Hat. There's no question in my mind Julius Randle is a Hufflepuff. Think about it, Adam Silver." And then a follow-up later was, "Have you guys seen Brooke? Dude's a spaz. Hufflepuff all the way, man."
Which is a bit they stole from our show.
It's true. Now,
we verbatim, we had Brooke calling Robin the Hufflepuff, I believe. But
I believe they were debating, yes. Robin does claim that he is a Ravenclaw, no doubt, though he had one summer in 2012 where he was Slytherin through and through.
I wonder what he did. He murdered a guy?
He killed a guy. Look, it maybe one of the weaknesses at Hogwarts is, putting 25% of the student population into Murder House. I mean, I don't know magic that much, so
also read another book, everyone.
Yeah. Speaking of not reading another book, I just want to deliver this quote. The last time they were in New York, someone asked if when Robin was traded to the Knicks when he signed with the Knicks. And Brooke was already on the Nets, they asked if he'd let Robin, if they would live together, and Brooke said he would invite his brother to live under his staircase accommodations. The New York Times referred to that as accommodations similar to those endured by the literary character Harry Potter. Thank you, New York Times, for specifying that he was a literary character. I'm surprised they weren't like Mr. Potter's home under the staircase.
Eric Freeman had an amazing Lopez Brothers tweet today.
So Robin's response to that was a very Muggle response. I think obviously he's trying to hinder or suppress whatever mystical abilities I may have. He can't understand them, and I don't blame him for that. Pretty open-minded by Robin.
Our friend of the show, Eric Freeman. Look, we're gonna get off the Lopez brothers in a minute because there's so much to do. But he tweeted today, quote, "I once interviewed the Lopez twins, and they wouldn't tell me the premise of a fantasy novel series because they considered it too innovative to describe in any detail." And then the follow-up tweet is, "To be clear, this series was their idea, and they didn't want it stolen."
Oh my God. I mean, it's going to be so much more productive that they're on one team, but also, I mean, this is something I've been pitching for a little while. You should be able to have twin brothers take up a single roster spot.
The Morris twins still out there lobbying for that, I'm sure. Yeah. They're both free agents right now.
I'm sort of surprised they're not both New York Knicks already, but this is where the Lakers' max room is going to end up going, right? Okay, other thing with the Bucks, Malcolm Brogdon is gone.
Yeah, that seems like they kind of cheaped out on that one, I'm going to be honest.
Well, they kind of had to pick 3 out of the 4. You know what I mean?
I just kind of think...
How many point guards do you think they need to have on the roster?
I just think George Hill is the one you let leave because he's like 35 or whatever, you know?
I think you weren't paying attention to his incredible playoff performance.
Oh, I know.
I also kind of think, he's 33. I feel like it's, I don't know. I feel like that is I don't think Malcolm Brogdon is, I think he's good, but
we'll get to him when we get to the Pacers.
Anyway, but they managed to get Indiana's first round pick next year and a couple of future picks. So that
some people really care about that. I do not. All right.
I think it's good they got something back.
Sure. Yes. Well, we'll get to that later. The Brooklyn Nets added KD, Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving.
That's Kyrie Irving. Joey.
Yeah. DeAndre Jordan, and Garrett Temple.
Mm-hmm.
They traded some people away, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
We're only doing ads, I think, here. So here's my question for you, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Did the Nets remember they had Jared Allen on their team?
Well, I understand the question there, but they also basically lost to the 76ers because of their inability to get a single rebound in a 5-game series.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were getting just killed by the size. So I understand the inclination to have DeAndre Jordan help with, like, I think he might be kind of washed, but he still rebounds and sets screens. So,
well, more importantly,
he's Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant came here because these are his friends.
Mm-hmm.
All Kevin Durant wants is a best friend. That's basically, I don't know if you read the Marcus Thompson piece that Marcus Thompson wrote today, but he was just like, yeah, Kevin Durant kind of left because he and Steph Curry didn't become best friends. They like each other, but they're not best friends. And that's all Kevin Durant wants.
Also, apparently,
which is the saddest motivation a professional athlete has ever had, I think.
I mean, I guess, but isn't LeBron's motivation is that he wants to, like, reunite the basketball team he had when he was 15?
Yes.
It's like, there's a lot of, like, weird Charles Foster Kane psychological stuff that happens. Like, LeBron's going to be on his deathbed and he's going to be, like, muttering the name of the point guard he played with when he was 12. And he's like, I still remember every dribble he made. But yeah, apparently his best friends in the NBA are Kyrie Irving, DeAndre Jordan, and Quinn Cook.
Well, and Alonzo Trier. That's the other one.
Oh, is Alonzo Trier his buddy?
Yeah.
That's weird. What's weird about that is that Alonzo Trier is, like, significantly younger than Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
right?
but I think he's from the DMV or whatever.
I mean, I get. Look, I understand that, but he's not that much younger. I guess he's a little older than I thought.
Anyway.
No, he like lived in Oklahoma. I think they met when he was in Oklahoma City.
Weird. Okay. This team is going to be really fucking good, right? Even next year with KD hurt?
I think they're going to be awesome. Some people don't believe that Kyrie Irving is like a big upgrade. He is a huge upgrade. Just I don't know if Kyrie Irving is like the most valuable guy in the regular season. He's an extremely good player to have in the playoffs.
But also, here's the thing. They're going to have Karis LeVert, who was their best player last year, actually healthy all year.
Yeah,
and Spencer Dinwiddie is still there. Jared Allen is still there. My man Rodiones is still there.
Dazan Musa is there, but also
Joe Harris still there.
Well, they also added Taurean Prince.
Yes,
who can
is
just
good.
Play defense and play. They just have a bunch of guys who can play a lot of positions. Like LeVert can play point guard. He can also play small forward. Taurean Prince can play the 2 or the 3.
No, Taurean Prince is a 3-4.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Either way, like they're definitely much bigger than they used to be.
Yeah.
Kuruks and Musa are both small forwards, I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Those guys are maybe not going to play that much, but they just have a ton of guys that are like 25 and younger.
Yeah. This is going to be the best team in the East for a very long time, I think.
I mean, not next year, but probably after that. Yeah, they're pretty set.
Yeah,
they just didn't really lose anything that they still wanted. If that makes sense.
Well,
right?
We'll get to what they lost in a minute.
I know. I'm just saying when you can add 4 guys like this. I mean, and Garrett Temple is like, I don't know, Torian Prince's dark future, but still like a good guy to have around.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett
Temple's a good player.
Just seems like there's a lot of infrastructure to kind of absorb Kyrie weirdness.
That's the one thing I sort of worry about. Kyrie and KD are both very weird.
Mm-hmm. But they've never built this together. So it's, I mean, who knows? Look, Kyrie Irving could burn his bridges
tomorrow.
In 2 years. Well, yeah. What do you think? Okay, so Joey, what do you think he's most likely to get into now that he's in Brooklyn? And my thought was Kabbalah.
It's not bad. I think he was already posting about the Illuminati today. Let me see. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, because he was essentially his most recent thing was becoming a Freemason. It seemed like.
Yeah, 4 hours ago, he posted a drawing of the all-seeing eye in a triangle and said, quote, "The journey is the reward. I, EYE, only know the best for me, ... Family first. At Rock Nation. At Rock Nation Sports."
Well, I mean, look, Jay-Z seems to be better at building a super team than LeBron James so far. I don't know. Also, isn't it kind of funny that Kevin Durant only wants to play for super teams? Like I guess he was on one bad team with Seattle, but then they immediately added future Hall of Famers Russell Westbrook and James Harden
and Serge Ibaka. Who's not a future Hall of Famer, but people forget how good Serge Ibaka was.
Very good player. And then once the Thunder were like, you know what, we're probably going to just cut down to 3 All-Stars, Durant was like, "You've betrayed me, and I will leave at the earliest possible moment." And then when he was at the Warriors, what really clinched it was Klay Thompson getting hurt, and he's like, "Only 2 other All-Stars? I must go to the other side of the country. I need a softer landing spot."
I still think they can win the East next year, by the way.
I mean, it's a good team. I think they probably won't.
I'm just so high on LeVert and Dinwiddie anyway, without Kyrie. I don't know, man.
I think
they're really good.
I think they're a little weak in the front court, Joey. That would be my take.
I love Jared Allen, though.
Yeah, but
and Torian Prince. It's just guys I really like.
I mean, it's a deep team, and they also have a lot of options for doing other stuff.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of things they lost. Oh, what is Kyrie gonna get into in Brooklyn? Oh, yeah. I think it'll probably be taking up a really long time in the bathroom at a concert at McCarran Pool, probably.
Ooh, that's yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I guess I do know what you're saying.
I mean, I don't know if they still do those, but you know, it's been a while since I read Brooklyn Vegan.
Yeah.
In fact, is Kyrie's vegan, right?
Yes, he is
that is his new nickname. Vegan. He's Brooklyn Vegan. All right.
here's
Also,
the
that blog has a lot of cocaine. That was a real cocaine vibe to a lot of things happening on Brooklyn Vegan between 2006 and 2013 when I read it. Yeah, what?
Was that also Carlos with an E? Was he a Brooklyn
Vegan? No, that
Vegan?
was Hipster Runoff.
Oh, I just feel like...
you mean from Grantland?
Oh, I guess he
was on the original Grantland roster. It was like, man, they got so many good writers. Carla's, fucking the tobacco, the tobacco industry cheat.
Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah. Sex, drugs, and Cocoa Puffs, man. Dave Eggers, by the way, as a printer, but not writing for them.
That was weird. Did I ever tell you about the time I saw Chuck Klosterman at Zeitgeist?
You did not.
He was like, it was one of the rare hot days in San Francisco. And so he went to Zeitgeist.
Which, for the listeners out there, it's an outdoor bar that everyone goes to when it's nice in San Francisco. Garden. Yeah. He
looked so overly warm in his flannel shirt and his beard. Like, he looked like he was like melting on the inside. But he's also like huge.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, that was all. Second biggest celebrity I've ever seen at Zeitgeist. Number one being
Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin.
Yeah. You're not the only person who's told me they've saw Quentin Tarantino at Zeitgeist.
Yeah, my friend smoked a bowl with him. He was sitting on a giant notebook that presumably contained the script to Django because of the timing. You're never going to believe this, Joey. Talks pretty loud. Even for an outdoor bar setting.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
All right, we're at 35 minutes
wait.
on.
Go ahead. I'm going to ask you this quick question though. They stole KD and Kyrie away from the Knicks. Could they steal Spike Lee?
I don't think so.
It's right by his office though.
I know.
Convenient for him. But, nah, he'll never change.
Yeah, he loves Earl the Pearl too much, you know?
Could they steal John McEnroe?
No.
Have they already stolen Ethan Hawke?
Yes. That is for sure. I mean, but also the Nets already have the greatest number one fan in New York. Which, of course, is that video of Paul McCartney really wanting a Brooklyn Nets t-shirt, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, he is their number one celebrity. Do you think he and Lorne ever argue about that? Where Lorne's like, Paul, I got courtside seats at MSG, and Paul's just like, but I want to go see Brooke Lopez, man. He's the all-time leading scorer, kind of the Ringo of the Nets.
All right, let's talk about our collective favorite team. The Golden State Warriors.
Yes.
Who they lost Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
They traded Andre Iguodala and a 2024 number one pick to get D'Angelo Russell, Travion Graham, a dunked on All-Star, and Shabazz Napier.
Two-time national champion, Shabazz Napier.
LeBron's favorite player. Remember, LeBron made the Heat draft Shabazz Napier and then left anyway.
Friend of Kemba Walker and Jeremy Lamb. I mean, I assume they're probably buddies. That was weird because KD left, and I wasn't surprised, and I was kind of like, well, yeah, gonna kind of be a rebuilding year. Oh, they also kept Klay Thompson.
Yeah, and they signed Klay Thompson to the 5-year, $190 million contract.
Mm-hmm. Even bigger than Tobias Harris's deal. So I was very surprised. Joey texted me and was like, hey, I hear they're making a sign and trade for D'Angelo Russell. And I was like, that sounds
like
really
a lie.
weird.
You thought I was lying.
Yeah. Well, I was just like, this sounds like some face-saving, light years ahead Warriors PR, like, oh, they're gonna make it a sign and trade for D'Angelo Russell, and KD was cleared by 7 doctors, and then like 5 minutes later the deal was done.
Yeah.
So I was wrong.
I don't really understand how or why this happened.
Right, like.
But also, I don't.
Brooklyn's motivation is.
I don't either. But the other thing I don't understand is, people are really shitting on Bob Myers for this too. Like, the middle ground. Look, I don't think D'Angelo Russell is very good, personally.
You're not a fan.
I do not like him. He played exactly the same when we all thought he was shitty for 3 years last year, except hit a bunch of the same mid-range shots and floaters that he was taking and missing before. He looks like if a mouse had a SoundCloud page.
I don't really understand it, but also I don't disagree. He has my least favorite look and vibe, basically, of pretty much anyone in the league. Mm-hmm. I don't like that his Twitter is deloading.
Mm-hmm. Do you like the ice in my veins celebration?
No, it's terrible.
But, that being said, the Warriors were going to lose Kevin Durant for nothing and still not be able to afford to add anyone, so it's like...
Right.
Also, he's 23, like, and this
he
contract
just
feels
turned
like
23,
yeah,
by the way.
And this feels like they can trade him if they have to. Like,
you have him through. They signed him through his age 26 season,
right? And I'm sad to see Andre Iguodala leave for sure. That's a real bummer. I love Andre Iguodala,
one of my favorite players of all time. Just a super cool guy.
But I just think I've
enjoyed him since Arizona.
It's true dunked on brain to be like, well, I mean, the better thing to do would be able to have your biannual exception instead of the 23-year-old all-star. Like,
just are they not going to be able to retain Jordan Bell and Quinn Cook? Like, that's kind of fine, you know?
Plus, I have a feeling the plan is to have him help out Steph Curry and Draymond Green this season, make the playoffs still, and then trade him next offseason.
Or see if he works out well. Like, weren't there a lot of teams that wanted to give D'Angelo Russell a max this summer?
Yes, and the other thing it does is if the Los Angeles Lakers don't sign Kawhi Leonard... he was their backup plan, and now everyone is gone.
There's not a lot of backup remaining because I don't even think they can trade for Chris Paul. Like they don't have enough space for that, right?
I mean, I don't know how that works at all.
I think they have to trade him into their cap space.
Sure.
And he makes anyway. Who cares, really? But yeah, that if they strike out with Kawhi, it's definitely a disappointment.
And yeah, if you're the Warriors, you're kind of like just pretty into kneecapping the Lakers anyway, you know?
Right, because yeah, you are into it. You love it. LeBron it's like the Lakers and LeBron, your like old enemy and your new enemy together. But also you realize we read the names of how many guys? We read 48 names at the beginning of the show. And there's like 2 or 3 more that also signed that weren't on our list yet.
Corey Joseph. Shouts to Corey Joseph.
Joe. Canada.
Reggie Bullock. Also not a Laker.
Yeah, he was on the list.
Oh, damn it.
You read him. Yeah, so that, like, if the question is D'Angelo Russell or nothing at all, like it just seems like a no-brainer. And in fact, the Warriors' championship odds in Las Vegas moved up to third in the NBA.
I mean,
do
that's
I agree
too
with that?
much.
No, but it's just it seems insane. Look, it sucks to lose Andre Iguodala, but also at the beginning of the season, he said, "If we don't win the title, I'm definitely not. I'm not coming back."
Right.
Like it just doesn't make. Look, he is a great player, but it doesn't make any sense to keep him around on a team that is not going to go deep into the playoffs, or at least. Well, look, he's a great guy to have around, but having him on the team would have cost them like $40 or $50 million, I think.
And also, here's the thing. The Portland Trailblazers land between the 3rd and the 7th seed every year in the playoffs. And this team is as good as any of those Portland Trailblazer teams. And very similar. They're going to be able to defend just as little. But because D'Angelo Russell and CJ McCollum's better, but pretty close skill set wise. Dame and Steph Curry are pretty close skill set wise, except Steph Curry is probably 2 to 3 times better at basketball. And Draymond Green is better than whatever the third thing the Portland Trailblazers ever have.
Right.
So congratulations. If you stay healthy, you have made the playoffs in the West now, and we'll have Klay Thompson coming back in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what their choices were besides doing this, because their avenue was to get something back in a sign and trade, and this is what was available for sign and trade.
I mean, people hate that they gave up a draft pick
to dump Iguodala, but they were gonna do that anyway.
It does seem like a steep price to get rid of a 1-year contract, I will say, because the pick is so late. Like 2024, that's like Steph's like year 34 or 35 season, right?
I agree with that, but there's got to be, there's a discounted value to those things. Memphis doesn't get anything for 5 years, like nothing. So, I mean, I feel like that's also dunked on Brain to be like, no, I want to pick later. Totally. I don't want anything. It's not like they accrue interest or anything like that.
I just wish that they had argued that the protections, if it doesn't convey, it becomes 2 second rounders.
Yeah. But yeah, like for sure. It could be a 2026 unprotected first round pick,
which
Joey.
That could be a very good pick, honestly.
I mean, it could, but who fucking knows? like most. I don't know, man. There's plenty of. Is San Francisco even going to be habitable in 8 years?
Fair point.
Will it be underwater? It could be. But yeah, I mean, Andre Iguodala got traded the moment that Klay Thompson tore his ACL. Possibly the moment where Kevin Durant tore his Achilles. And I will miss him, but I mean, essentially they sold a first round pick 5 years in the future for like $40 million right now. So, I mean, I get it.
We'll see what the rest of their weird roster is going to look like.
I cannot tell because they've got all these kind of seems like they could use the extra guys they got.
They're definitely keeping Travion Graham, I'll tell you that much.
I mean, they both...
Or else Nate Duncan will eviscerate them on his podcast.
Yeah, I just can't... It's just like they're both making the minimum, as far as I can tell. But it's non-guaranteed, so... Anyway, get ready to watch D'Angelo Russell and Steph Curry score a lot of points and not guard anyone.
Yeah, their defense is going to be so terrible. It's going to be hilarious.
It's going to be rough.
But here's the thing. Here's one thing I will say before we move on. Yeah. D'Angelo Russell ran 20 less pick and rolls last year than the entire Golden State Warriors offense.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to be able to play defense. If Steve Kerr isn't running pick and rolls next year, I am going to stop watching the Golden State Warriors. Like, I swear to God, I'm going to be really, like, I might, oh my God. All right, anyway.
Well, I'm just glad that even with Kevin Durant gone, you already have something to be angry about for next year. So that's good.
I should explain that when they first started talking about D'Angelo Russell, I've now sort of talked myself into it. I was also not very happy when it was happening. I told you, oh no, they're doing Corey Maggette instead of Baron Davis all over again. And I had the same sinking feeling in my stomach.
Yeah.
Because I really do not like D'Angelo Russell.
You don't. The difference being Corey Maggette was like 29 years old.
Yes.
So he had a 9-year track record in the NBA at that point.
And was not an all-star also.
No.
Not that D'Angelo Russell was a real all-star either.
Whatever. It's still but I would say I'm somewhat excited to basically watch like
Stephen Monte again.
Yeah, the sliding doors version of the Warriors, as Bill Simmons would say. Like if they were like, you know what, we don't need Andrew Bogut or defenders. Let's just see what these guys can do. They make bad decisions. Anyway, it'll be a thoroughly entertaining 6 seed.
Right.
I'm not sold on any of these fucking West teams.
I mean, look, as long as they have Steph, Clay, and Draymond healthy in the playoffs,
right?
They can make the NBA Finals. It'll be harder than normal, but they still can do it.
They just win a lot of games they have no business winning.
Yeah.
So,
like all those games against the Rockets and the one game against the Raptors. All right. The Philadelphia 76ers, Sean. This is, to me, the most baffling team. Wait, you said there was one team that made what they did made sense. Which team was that?
Oh, those the Bucks. Like all of that stuff was
keeping those guys. I mean, I would have
like adding Brooke Lopez was great.
You mean Robin
Lopez? Yeah. But they got Brooke on a good deal. Like if you're gonna pick one of those guys to not believe in, like I'm pretty okay with not giving Malcolm Brogdon 4 years and $85 million.
Well, again, it's not time to talk about Malcolm Brogdon. It's time to talk about the Sixers.
Okay.
This is my most baffling team. I do not understand what the Sixers are doing.
It's so. Okay,
they somehow have less shooting than they did at the end of the year.
Let's talk about who. Yeah. So they kept Tobias Harris and Mike Scott. Their sweet shooting power forward rotation,
as we call him around here. As we call Mike Scott around here, Emoji Maurice Spates.
Emoji Maurice Spates. Yes. Shouts to Lewis Keen's one of his favorite players in the NBA. They added Al Horford, and in a sign and trade deal with the Miami Heat that is still nebulous and completely mysterious, they added Josh Richardson and question mark. Possibly nothing else. And then JJ Redick left.
Who's your best 3-point shooter, Sean?
Well, it's Tobias Harris.
Okay.
You were arguing for Al Horford, and it's Tobias Harris.
Okay. I mean, either way, those are two guys who on other teams would be playing center.
Not Tobias Harris, but Tobias Harris, it is weird that everybody is like shifting a position down. You know what I mean? Like Horford's like a center who can play power forward. Tobias Harris is like, he used to be a small forward, but he's really a power forward. And then like Ben Simmons is a 6'10" point guard who won't shoot outside of 8 feet of the basket. So, and then you have Josh Richardson, who I think is a good player. Like he always kind of kills the Warriors, but he's like, a 35% 3-point shooter. Good. Now, I do think their defense will be very good. Like this is going to be a tough team to score on for sure. But it also is like a weird team of giants where it's like, okay, Josh Richardson is a normal size 6'6" 2 guard. Everyone else is like 6'10" or taller.
Right. And the guys they have coming near young draft picks are Zaire Smith and Matthias Tybel, who are bigger wings who can't shoot.
Yeah, I don't think Zaire Smith can't shoot, right? I mean, Tybel is like a defensive monster whose college defensive stats like almost don't make sense.
Right, and Zaire Smith's thing was he was like a good he was one of those guys who's like, yeah, he's a really good athlete, he can dunk really hard, he's good at defense, but you have to teach him how to shoot.
Right. Now, he did, in his 6 games, he shot 37% from 3, and that is a total of 16 attempts.
Well, great.
6 for 16. Congratulations, Zaire Smith. He is 20
Hopefully
years
they
old.
don't kill him.
Oh, yeah. They did poison him and almost murder him
because he was allergic to either peanuts or sesame seeds or something, and they gave him those.
It was like... So I think he is allergic to peanuts, and they were really careful about it. And oh my god, he dropped to 160 pounds last year. Jesus Christ, he almost died.
Yeah.
Wow. So don't do that again. So he didn't have any anaphylaxis. He had hives that formed all over his body. He tried to use his EpiPen and it didn't work because it was expired. He can't even remember what happened, but except for just throwing up. He had a hole in his esophagus. They had to, Jesus Christ.
And the Sixers did this to him, right? That's what happened?
They
gave him some medication that didn't include... that had whatever he was allergic to in it, I thought.
Yeah, I'm trying to even find... They don't know what it is. I guess he has a peanut allergy. He's allergic to shellfish, green beans, cabbage, peas, and sesame. And now he drinks 7 protein shakes a day. They don't really know what it is. And now he's the piggiest eater in the NBA because he's like, I'm never going to eat a food I've never eaten before.
Wild.
Which Joel Embiid, that's going to be tough with Embiid, dude.
So Sean, does this team make sense to you?
No. I mean, I understand that they were being opportunistic and, like they solved some of their holes. Like it's going to be very nice that they can just play Joel Embiid 25 to 30 minutes a game all season long. Al Horford is like a very capable backup, but it still seems like they don't actually have like a point guard. You know what I mean? Like they could, like it feels like if they had
Corey Joseph.
Well, Corey, like not even as good as Corey Joseph. I'm like, geez, it really feels like, God, I'm trying to think of who the ideal. I mean, it would be the guy I'm thinking is like the old point guard Anthony Carter, but even like, I feel like Ian Clark would really help their team. Also, it feels like the Clippers have 5 point guards and the Sixers have like half a point guard. Maybe this will work, but it just seems like having a a real guard who could shoot and dribble would go a really long way.
Yeah. Fucking weird, dude. All right, while we're talking about them, let's talk about the Heat, who also I don't understand how this happened. They added Jimmy Butler, sort of?
Yes.
But the Mavs are really fucking up their shit about it?
Yeah, because the Heat are, like, capped out.
Which, by the way, first off, Jimmy Butler going to the Heat. I told you guys an episode ago that he's been trying to single white female Dwayne Wade for years. And this is we're finishing it. Right? Him choosing the Heat?
Well, I mean, I was sort of like, did Silky Johnson do a Photoshop on that?
Yes.
It's beautiful.
At Silky Johnson 23, our resident Photoshop maker. He makes Photoshops of our jokes. Everyone follow him.
Yeah, so and I wonder if it was like, if it were any other team president, this would never come into my mind. But do you think Dwayne Wade and Pat Riley engineered the falling out that led to him taking that big deal in Chicago? Like, okay, I'm going to lay it out for you.
What?
Pat Riley publicly talks about his dissension with Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade flirts with the Bulls. They fake this breakup. Dwayne Wade signs a larger contract than the Heat would have ever given him to go to his hometown of Chicago, and he starts working on Jimmy Butler. Rondo's there as a smokescreen, but Wade's there. He's tanking the team. He's getting Jimmy unhappy, and he's like slowly eroding the foundation of the Bulls, but he's also separating Jimmy from the team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the first thing he did is like, you hate all these young players, right, Jimmy? And Jimmy's like, yeah, you want to hang out with me? You want to go to Europe with me? Jimmy's like, yeah, that is cool. Man, these young guys do suck. You're right. And then he gets so
Rondo's like, my vets.
My vets. And then
my vets wouldn't jet set off to Rome without their young guys. My vets. My vets.
That was Rajon Rondo's Instagram, a tone poem. And so Jimmy gets traded to Minnesota, and Wade's like, you can't let those young kids talk to you like that. You're the king, like me. I wouldn't let anyone talk to me like that. Jimmy blows it up, gets a trade to Philly. Meanwhile, Wade's back in Miami. He's about to embark on his secret $7 million a year job as like a marketing consultant for Carnival Cruise Lines. Mickey Arison's company. Heat owner Mickey Arison's company. And the long plan, he's finally brought Jimmy Butler to Miami. Unfortunately, in the interim, Pat Riley has also signed Kelly Olynyk, James Johnson, Dion Waiters, and Tyler Johnson to enormous contracts because he sort of forgot the plan that he sent Dwayne Wade on. But he finally brought Jimmy Butler to Miami, where he's probably going to be really happy and relaxed.
I have a different conspiracy for you, Sean.
Oh, okay.
All right. So Jimmy Butler is just a fucking psychopath, dude. That's it. There are no machinations here. The man doesn't have a rear view mirror in his car.
Yeah, and I mean, but that to me says state of fucking Florida. You know what I mean? Like, you probably don't even legally have to have one on your car.
Except here's the problem, Sean. This trade hasn't happened yet because I guess we should talk about them now and then go back up. The Dallas Mavericks
Yes.
are being really annoying.
Well, it sounds like, I mean, this reminds me of that weird failed wrong
Suns,
Brooks
Grizzlies,
trade. Yeah.
Brooks mistake.
Because at first when I saw it, it was like, oh shit, the Mavericks just cheaped out and didn't want Goran Dragic, or they fucked up the trade somehow. And then it was like, no, they just straight up fucked up the trade. Like somehow the Heat were like, we're trading you Dragic, right? And someone at the Mavs staff was like, right, Derek Jones Jr. and Kelly Olynyk.
Let's be honest, someone at the Mavs office was too busy selling Bitcoins and was not staring at his phone and not paying attention.
Yeah. Then was like, oh, what's the call sign? And he just is like, DJJ. That probably means Dragic, right? Yeah. So supposedly they were going to take Kelly Olynyk and Derek Jones Jr. off. But
the problem is that is not enough money for the Heat to sign Jimmy Butler. They'd have to take another person, and also the Heat are like, we just want to give you Goran Dragic. He's a better player. And the Mavs are like, look, we do not want the good white guy. We want the bad white guy. Give us Kelly Olynyk.
And they're also talking to Dallas, and they're like, you need another guard, and also there's only 2 Slovenian players in the whole NBA. It's a 1-year deal. And they're like insistent. They're just like, we want to trade Goran Dragic. It's like, it's just let us do that. Somehow it's very. I just can't tell what they're doing.
The Suns should absolutely renege on their Ricky Rubio deal and just be like, give us Goran Dragic.
Well, and also it's clearly the Mavs too, according to the greatest Miami Heat amateur capologist on Twitter, Albert Namad. Guy rules. He just says like it doesn't even make sense that it would be confusing. Yeah, because Kelly Olynyk and Derek Jones don't match on the trade, and it would hard cap the Heat apparently. Mm-hmm. And it just doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I just can't. It's so obvious that they should just take Dragic back. They're not getting anything better. It's a 1-year deal. It would be super fun, and they would make the playoffs if they made that trade.
Yeah.
For free!
Yeah.
For free!
That's the key. No sense.
like they're under the cap. Their story is they want to spend the money on something else, and it's like, what the fuck else? Also, you just signed Dwight Powell to a 3-year contract. Could have used some of that money on him.
And they signed Kristaps Porzingis to the max.
Uh-huh.
So that's it. We're done with the Mavericks. But that is the funniest thing that happened today.
Baffling.
The Heat are like, hey, NBA, we want to just give away this good player for free. Also, and everyone is like, no thanks. We want to sign Reggie Bullock.
Well, I think they're gonna find someone for Goran Dragic. I think the problem was they talked to the Mavs for like 3 days, and the Mavs were like, yeah, absolutely, yeah, you got it. Yeah, no, just have Jimmy stay in Miami. We got it.
They were too busy looking at porn on their office computers while the call was happening. Yeah.
They're like, oh, sorry, we were actually destroying depositions in some civil suits. Once again, I mean, this just proves that Mark Cuban should have already been removed from the Shark Tank panel for moral character reasons. But this is like take accept the Goran Dragic proposal. Invest in Dragic Inc. It rules. He's even like a fine defender. Oh, so frustrated by this.
All right. The Pacers, which I think maybe the most surprising development of the day is me texting you and being like, "Hey, the Pacers rip now, dude."
Oh, I'm fucking so fucking into the Pacers, and I looked at what they did, and I was like, "Are you are excited about this?
I like it. It's good.
You're fucking into it." Okay, so they added
Malcolm Brogdon
for 4 years
Mm-hmm.
and $85 million.
Mm-hmm.
26-year-old third-year player, Malcolm Brogdon,
Mm-hmm.
6 months younger than Harrison Barnes,
Mm-hmm.
and Jeremy Lamb.
Yeah, dude.
And they, at the same time, they said goodbye
Mm-hmm.
to Thaddeus Young and Bojan Bogdanovic.
Mm-hmm. Here's why I like it.
Okay.
It's a lot of weird guys to just stand around and hit spot up shots while Oladipo just tries to dunk on people constantly.
I think you're mistaken about how good a shooter Jeremy Lamb is.
I mean,
that
he
is
shoots corner threes, man.
not very well, though. like you were like, yeah, Jeremy Lamb, he's gonna be dropping all those threes, and then I was like, wow, I kind of don't think that's his game. And it was like, well, he did hit 34.8%, 34% 3-point shooter. And meanwhile, the guys who left are Thaddeus Young and Bojan Bogdanovic.
I do love Bojan. And we're going to talk about Bojan.
We'll talk about him a little bit. Yeah. We'll get into that.
But also just Brogdon is so pacery, man. It's like the perfect fit of like weird slow-moving guy with weird slow. Yeah.
Like he's not a white guy, but his nickname's the President.
All right, let's go to another very confusing team.
Yeah. Anyway, that's just for the record. That is way too much money for Malcolm Brogdon because he doesn't actually shoot off the dribble. So it is going to be a rude awakening when he is not playing with Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, he's a free throw shooter, but I don't really expect him to be a 42% 3-point shooter next year. Also, gets hurt a lot.
All right, the Knicks. Time to talk about the fucking Knicks, baby.
Yes.
All right, so Sean,
Mm-hmm.
first thing I want to tell you.
Yes.
The Knicks fans are excited about one player on their team from last season.
His name is
Mitchell Robinson. Yeah, he's a center.
Mm-hmm.
He blocked shots at a almost a historical rate, but he also fouled at like a historical rate.
Yeah.
But he's a center. He's a very exciting center.
And he's a developmental project who needs minutes and just like the trust of the coaching staff that, we're not pulling you out of the game. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And to prepare for this summer, they traded Kristaps Porzingis to clear a massive amount of cap space for this summer.
Yeah, so Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant could talk about their max slots in front of cameras at the All-Star break, remember?
Slots. 2 max slots.
Well, do you want to hear what the Knicks did with their cap room, Sean?
Yes, please.
They signed
who's going to the Mecca?
All right, they signed Julius Randle, whose best position is center. Mm-hmm. They signed Taj Gibson, whose best position is center.
Mm-hmm.
And they signed Bobby Portis, whose best position is probably power forward, but probably also center.
Sure. He is not big enough to play center, but I think Bobby Portis is like 6'7".
And then they signed Reggie
but
Bullock.
He's a big. Actually, he is much taller.
Yeah, he's
than
like
I thought.
6'10".
Yeah, he's pretty tall.
And then they signed Reggie Bullock.
3-point shooter. He should have gone to the Pacers.
Yeah.
And they signed Reggie Bullock.
Yeah.
These are all 2-year deals, I think.
Yes, I believe they are all 2-year deals. So
That-
now
We're
we're in waiting for Giannis time for the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get Giannis.
He's gonna come, right? Why wouldn't
totally? He? Yeah, he's for sure coming.
Yeah, the real deal.
In fact,
fake 3-year deal. That's a 2-year deal.
I just saw Giannis, and he was saying 1 max slot.
1 max slot. He, well, he's always wanted to play extremely close to an M&M store. So, like a big one that has like stairs in it in a second level. So I feel like, and one thing about Giannis Antetokounmpo, he likes blues music. Terrible, terrible blues music.
Mm-hmm.
And
he loves it.
There's one logical destination. This is a crazy, I don't even think that signing Bobby Portis and Reggie Bullock is that bad an idea, but it's really a log jam in the front court, Joey. Don't you think they're sort of their guards are Trey Burke, Emmanuel Mudiay?
They waived Emmanuel Mudiay.
To clear space for these guys.
Yeah, they didn't pick up his qualifying offer.
But who's there? Oh, it's Frankie Smokes and Trey Burke
and Dennis Smith Jr.
Oh, right. What a weird team. What athletes now. What's funny is I predicted jokingly that they were going to come away with Julius Randle because the last time they cleared a ton of cap space to try to lure like a real star in 2010, they whiffed on everybody and just ended up signing like a real athletic, bad defensive center who was coming off of a bad leg injury with Amari Stoudemire. And I was like, Julius Randle is the poor man's Amari Stoudemire. And I even like Julius Randle. These are guys that I like, but it's just, how is this not incredibly disappointing if you're a Knicks fan?
This is, I can't even imagine being a Knicks fan at this point.
It feels so crazy to just look at how much money they spent on these guys too.
I'm worried about people I know that are Knicks fans. Their owner at the trade deadline went on the radio and was like, "Oh, trust me, we're getting 2 guys. Wink, wink."
Mm-hmm. 2 max slots. Okay, so they spent $114 million on these guys.
Why Taj Gibson?
That it's inexplicable to me. Well, and that you're like, oh, he's a good veteran presence. It's like, oh, so he helped that Minnesota Timberwolves locker room like that. Like, oh, what happened? What did he teach Karl Anthony Towns to do? Play garbage ass defense? Great. I mean, I guess he's like coming home to New York.
Man, this is so weird. All right, the Rockets, Sean.
Yeah.
They brought back Danuel House.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some stipulation in his new contract that they make him hide in the G League again for half a season, right?
Yeah, and I think they get to harvest his blood, and on the team plane, he actually has to pedal a bicycle, which powers a charger. Yeah. And also, somehow it's stored for, the power in one of Tillman Fertitta's houses.
And they also brought back Gerald Green for question mark, but let's be honest, it's the minimum.
No, it is the minimum. Yes, it is the 1-year minimum.
They did not trade Chris Paul, or burn down the new practice facility for insurance money.
So that's good. That's good. Joey, do you see a landing spot for Chris Paul anywhere in the league?
It's still, I mean, the Lakers have got to figure out a way to make it work.
I keep thinking that, and then I'm like, I don't even know if ditching Kyle Kuzma would give them enough space, because they have to trade him into cap space, I think, because they only have 3 players on the roster.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. Maybe he can. I don't know.
We have to ask Brett and Randy about the specifics of that. But
Randy's on vacation in the backyard. That's why they're not on today. So
who knows when he'll be back
Yeah.
too? His little legs. Okay. So good job, Rockets.
all right, now let's talk about Michael Jordan. He massively overpaid Terry Rozier.
Now we should really get into what happened to drive Kemba Walker away, though.
Okay, sure.
Because so he qualified for a supermax contract by making All NBA, and then he said, you don't have to give me the supermax. I just want to stay in Charlotte. And then Michael Jordan wouldn't give him the regular max deal, which was 5 for $190. And Kemba Walker even said, I don't need the full max. I'd like $175 million for 5 years. And Charlotte offered him 5 years and 160, which is not even as much on a per year basis as his 4-year max with another team.
Right.
And so their two best players from last year are now gone. I would say Cody Zeller might have been the second if he could play more than like 45 games a year.
But that's always the trick with the Charlotte Hornets. Somebody always trots out like, they were 7 games above 500 when Cody Zeller played. And it was like he played in 23 games.
Yeah. It's crazy because then I'll watch him and he kicks ass. But it's also like, well, his legs are made out of pipe cleaners.
But he truly is the last Zeller on earth.
And so when he saw Jeremy Lamb left for a fairly reasonable 3-year, $31.5 million contract. And then Terry Rozier.
Enter Scary Terry.
I don't really understand the mentality of cheaping out on Kemba Walker.
To
and
pay
then
Terry Rozier 3 years and $58 million.
I just don't understand.
It's almost $20 million a year for Terry Rozier.
Yeah, and it's like it made lowballing Kemba Walker. I understand that it's like we didn't even make the playoffs. We're close to the luxury tax. Let's let these contracts expire. We can just be bad and clean the slate. And now it's like, well, they're never going to be out of cap hell now. They're just. How good are they going to be?
Not
with
good.
Terry Rozier. What do you think? What do you think Terry Rozier's career 3-point percentage is, Joey?
22.
Well, it's 35.
35? Oh, 35's better than I thought it was. I thought he was pretty bad.
But anytime you can sign a 25-year-old who averaged 9 points and almost 3 assists per game last year.
And then burned his team while go out of town. And works for Barstool Sports.
Oh, yeah. And is being sued by Miramax?
Yeah.
Is Miramax suing him? He seems like he's an okay defensive player.
Sure. He's a backup point guard.
But he takes a ton of threes. Most of his shots are threes, and he's not particularly great at making them. Over half his shots were threes, and he shot 35%. He's a career 38% shooter. Doesn't particularly distribute the ball either. 2.3 assists per game for his career. Maybe he just needed an opportunity, and he can shine like he sort of did against Milwaukee, but this just seems like a terrible particularly for this team, this is a terrible decision. And like what I'm assuming is that Michael Jordan stopped going to work at the end of March, and he has not been back, except to like text people and be like, "No, lower."
The thing that
Lower
sucks
the
about
offer.
this is I was super ready to call Mitch Kupchak competent. Remember? We want Mitch Kupchak to be competent. And for it to be a real funny joke that it was the buses that were doing that to him. But I don't know, man.
I think this is a Michael Jordan contract, Joey. I think Mitch Kupchak, one thing we learned in Los Angeles, he is a company man.
All right, let's talk about the Raptors. Mark Gasol came back.
Yeah, good.
Picked up his option.
Yeah.
I
think Kawhi's meeting with them on Wednesday. He gets the last meeting. But I did discover.
No, he said he was giving the Raptors the last meeting, didn't he?
What did I just say?
You said the Lakers were getting the last meeting.
Sorry, no, he's meeting with the Lakers and Clippers today and tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday, and then the Raptors on presumably Wednesday. I guess there's no real hurry at this point. So two of those teams are going to be really screwed. Except actually, the Raptors are not like super screwed because it wasn't like, if he's gone, he's gone. You know what I mean? Like they've.
But also,
Norman
they're not.
Powell just gets his minutes.
Yeah, they're not even like particularly in cap.
No, because all their contracts expire after next season.
Yeah, and they still have Pascal Siakam.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Van Vliet, and
OG finally.
Oh yeah, he'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're without. Also, they're all super happy, and they're going to be like the 5th or 6th seed if he leaves. Maybe even better.
Yeah, my guess is the only person who really wants Kawhi to hurry up is Danny Green.
Right,
because I think Danny Green probably would have signed somewhere today if he knew Kawhi was leaving.
Doesn't he have to stick with him because they've been together their whole careers? Yeah. Danny Green's gonna make somebody really happy.
All right. The Detroit Pistons signed Derrick Rose. Boo.
Boo. Joey, is Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose the biggest douchebag combo in the NBA?
I still kind of like Blake, even though I shouldn't.
Definitely a total
I know he's a huge asshole.
A team employee. He loves Barstool Sports.
I know. I still think
stealing
of how
stage
fun
time from hard comedians.
I still think of how fun Blake was, though. I can't let it go for some reason. My bigger question, Sean, is
mentored by Chris Paul.
Are Reggie Jackson and Derrick Rose going to fight to the death for the ball?
I can see that happening.
All right. The Orlando Magic, also a confounding team today.
Yeah. They kept Nikola Vucevic.
Good job. Probably should have. Literally, they're going to retire his number.
Yeah, I mean, he's about to
He's like going to be
like he already passed Shaq on the all-time.
Yeah, we did that. We did that pretty recently. He's like top 3 in all of their career.
He's like their Brooke Lopez.
Yeah. And re-signed Terrence Ross for kind of a lot of money, but I like Terrence Ross. Who doesn't?
Yeah, man. I like him.
Terrence Ross is great. Fun guy. Fun player to have.
It's like that kind of summer too, where it's just kind of like any of these it's a lot,
any
but
of these
it's not
4 for 50. It's like okay, unless
right, and he's 28.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine,
But here's another thing they did, Sean.
Uh-huh.
They also signed Al Farouk Aminu today?
Yeah.
That makes 0 sense, right?
It just feels like a lot of their team is already Al Farouk Aminu.
Yeah, in fact, here's what I'm going to do, Sean.
Okay.
I'm pulling up the Orlando Magic roster, and I'm going to read you players, and you're going to tell me if they're a young Al-Farouq Aminu or not. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Jarrell Martin.
I don't really know, Joey.
Okay. Jonathan Isaac.
I think Jarrell Martin is. I'm going to say yes.
He's 6'10" and 239.
Yeah. And yeah, his nickname is Slim.
Jonathan Isaac.
Absolutely an Al-Farouq Aminu.
Wesley Owundu.
I think he's an Al-Farouq Aminu,
I think
Joey.
so too. Kem Birch.
You know, he's like if Al-Farouq Aminu was a center.
Yeah. Mo Bamba.
He is not an Al-Farouq Aminu.
See, I think he's kind of an Al-Farouq Aminu, man.
Wow. He's
7 feet tall.
Just he's
and
a center.
Only 221 pounds.
Oh, his skin is. I just mean like Mo Bamba like can't play basketball though.
Sure.
And I feel like Aminu's big. Although
Aminu couldn't play basketball either
for a few years. All right, okay, I'm coming around, Joey.
All right, is Aaron Gordon an Al-Farouq Aminu?
Oh, absolutely, an Al-Farouq Aminu.
100%.
He's like Al-Farouq Aminu on steroids.
And you know what? I'm gonna say Michael Carter Williams, kind of an Al-Farouq Aminu.
Definitely has the vibe of an Al-Farouq Aminu where you're like,
Just
it's all these guys who are like, man, if you were like 5% better at shooting the three.
It's all
but your
like,
defense. Oh, we love
God,
your
you're
defense.
so long. You are so long. I just wish you could shoot a three.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's a pretty productive college career you had. Not totally sure what your position is exactly, but
also Al-Farouq Aminu. I'm gonna say younger than I thought, though. I will say that about Al-Farouq Aminu.
Let's see. Hold on. Let me guess how old Al-Farouq Aminu is.
He looks very old.
27 and a half.
Yeah.
Is my guess.
He's 28.
Okay.
He was born in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
He just looks much older than 28, you know?
Yeah. I will say this about the Magic.
They have a type?
They definitely have a type. But also, like I do get it that if you have a team of Al-Farouq Aminus, bring in the original to be like, don't make the mistakes I made early in my career. Here are the things I did in Portland.
And Dallas. Dallas was the first one.
Let's all shoot 500 3-pointers today. You know, but he's a really good defensive player, and I think the Magic seem to have a lot of
really good defensive
players. And so, in a way, I kind of get the idea of like we're just gonna triple down on this.
It's truly. This is truly positionless basketball. They're going to have a lineup that is like Al-Farouq Aminu, Jonathan Isaac, fucking Aaron Gordon, and then Wesley Owundu at the 2, and then our man Markelle Fultz at the 1.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, if Markelle Fultz can come back at all, the team kind of rules.
I mean, look, I'm into weird teams, so I am into this. It just is baffling to me that they also signed Al-Farouq Aminu.
Yeah, and like for a pretty reasonable deal for an Al-Farouq Aminu, right? Like he got like what, 3 and 30?
Yeah.
3 and 29. So
God, I mean, Neil, why didn't you re-sign him, Neil?
Yeah, come on, Neil. I guess, maybe because they could only pick one of their 4 free agents. So, yeah, I mean, what a weird team, but kind of like, I just love the idea of, I honestly think they could win 50 games, Joey.
Yeah, they're a positionless, jumperless basketball team, so it's going to be fun.
Fucking great.
There's going to be a game where Terrence Ross is playing 1-on-5 on offense, but they're going to be playing 4-on-5 on defense because Terrence Ross will just be cherry picking the entire game, and it's going to be tight as hell.
Well, right now on the roster, don't they have 3? Oh, they have 4 guards.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them is Fultz, so he might not be playing at all.
Yeah.
One of them's Evan Fournier, one of the hair replacement success stories of the NBA. And you have DJ Augustin, who was really great last year, but
top 10 in offensive rating.
Yeah, I still feel like that
hero.
whole thing could just collapse at any moment. Anyway, fun team, incredibly big
weird.
team too.
So weird, such a weird team. All right, the Celtics signed Kemba Walker, Sean.
Hey, what a move. 4 for 41. You know what? Look, not to be real Michael Jordan about it, but I would feel a lot better giving Kemba Walker 4 years instead of 5.
Did lose Kyrie Irving, Al Horford, and Scary Terry, and traded away a white guy to do it, so you know that their fans are very sad.
Wow, Baines is out. And they're okay. I don't understand if the Nets doing the sign and trade of Durant makes any difference if they can also make the Kyrie Irving deal a sign and trade.
I don't know.
It feels like they have to in order for the Terry Rozier to Charlotte thing to work, but maybe the Hornets are enough under the cap. I don't know. Regardless, my question is, what free agent will the Boston Press report that the Celtics were heartbreakingly close to signing?
It's going to be Nick Vucevic, right?
I was already seeing people saying Al Horford before he signed with Philly. There were a bunch of people saying, like, I don't know, the Celtics have some moves they could make. The mystery Al Horford suitor could be the Boston Celtics. Even though, like, 3 days ago, it was just like, yeah, we've broken off negotiations with Al Horford. He's not coming back at all. And Boston media is still like, I don't know. Who else could we get? So Kemba Walker.
Sean, I saw a pretty good. Yeah. I saw a pretty good map the other day. And it's the most hated. This is 2 days ago, and it's based on Twitter geotags.
Okay.
And it's the most hated NBA player in every state, and this is for the entire season. And it's
Kyrie Irving, the one from Massachusetts?
Not just Massachusetts, but also Maine, Vermont, and Connecticut. All of New England, it's Kyrie Irving. Everywhere else, it's either LeBron James or Kevin Durant.
What?
Sorry, Louisiana is Anthony Davis, of course. And Utah, guess who Utah's is?
Gordon Hayward.
James Harden.
Is it Gordon Hayward?
No, it's James Harden.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I mean, I would hate my abuser too. If someone just beat the shit out of me every April, I would be like, oh, I hate that guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know? Have you seen that? The centers currently on the Boston Celtics roster, Sean?
Is it Daniel Theis?
No, they did extend a qualifying. He's a restricted free agent, but they extended a qualifying offer.
What that weird Time Lord guy?
Time Lord. That NASA man they drafted, and Gerson Yabusele. Those are their bigs on the roster right now.
This is all their bigs in general.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they drafted. How good is this team, Joey? Where are they in the East?
I think they're going to win 67 games next year. All right, let's talk about the Pelicans.
Yes.
They added hologram Derek Favors.
Mm-hmm. Very appropriate because holograms are a big part of the Haunted Mansion, which is set in New Orleans, and Derek Favors is a hologram, not a man.
And they added JJ Redick.
Seems like does it seem like what they're doing is the opposite of what Coach K did last season, where he was like, we should surround this transcendent post player with is some guys who just throw up fucking bricks from everywhere on the court.
They also added the EuroLeague's leading scorer, some weird guy whose name
Nicola Belli.
Yeah, he seems dope, dude.
I mean, I was just.
I love when a weird, good European guy just comes over randomly. Like, not drafted, just all of a sudden there's this weirdo European guy in the league, like Alexei Shved or whatever.
Right. Right, and like most of the time it doesn't really work.
This time it's gonna work, though.
Yeah. Joey, why did the okay, so the Derek Favors trade was facilitated by
the Golden State Warriors
second round picks they extorted from them for keeping their weird Latvian.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Question.
Yeah.
Are the Pelicans possibly a playoff team?
I'm gonna take you one further and say I think the Pelicans are definitely a playoff team.
Because now, you got to think they're starting JJ Redick, Drew Holiday, Brandon Ingram, Derek Favors, and Zion?
Yeah, wait. Give me that lineup again.
Favors, Zion, Ingram, Redick, Holiday.
Yeah. And then they've
got Lonzo and the weird Euro and Josh Hart coming off the bench.
And then isn't there another center on the roster maybe?
Yeah, that guy they drafted. They drafted
right,
Jackson, the guy with the terrible name, bust name.
Yeah, although I agree that name is busty as hell, but I also like that guy.
I get it.
Oh, and they have Okafor.
They have Jahlil Okafor. Yeah.
They've got a lot of dudes on this team right now, Joey. I'm not gonna lie about that.
It's gonna be fun team.
Nicole Belli is so. You know who I think Favors is probably Do you think? They still got the man though, Joey. We didn't even mention him.
Your man Antoine Moore.
Yeah,
you love him.
I do. That's a playoff team, dude.
I don't know, man. Zion's got to be real good.
Yeah, but you got Drew Holiday. You got like this is a real team. Some guys who fit together. Nicola Melli is like a center, dude.
Oh, weird.
Have you seen what he looks like?
I have not seen what he looks like.
just he played for Fenerbahce, and he is extremely Italian. Let me just put it that way.
All right, our next team. How many more of these do we have to do? We're almost done. All right. The Nuggets picked up Paul Millsap's option and gave Jamal Murray a full max rookie extension. They lost no one. Seems a little early for that extension, though, if you ask me.
I think it does feel like that because you could have just let him become a restricted free agent next year. But I also wonder if the free agent class is so bad next summer that maybe they were just worried about it, or maybe they want everyone to be content, like they didn't want him to be in a contract year or something. But I don't know. Seems like, I mean, I guess they're committing to these dudes now.
Yeah. All right. The Blazers kept Rodney Hood. and then added Mario Hezonja, which I gotta say I'm extremely jealous of. That's a guy I wanted the Warriors to get. Look, he really sucks at basketball, but he has 2 to 3 amazing highlights a year, and it's worth it.
Like, he had a crazy triple-double this year that he fouled out of, I believe. And he also blocked the shit out of LeBron James.
Yeah.
And then, did he, like, pose at half court or something?
Yes, he did. Yeah, of course he did.
My God.
He's the best.
He's like a bullfighter in an NBA player's body.
And they gave Dame Dalla a supermax.
Yeah.
But they lost Aminu.
Only our fifth. Yeah.
They're going to lose Seth Curry, and they're going to lose Enes Kanter.
I got to say, with Bazemore and Hood, they're definitely losing a bit of front court defense. But I understand this decision. Right? Like, they could basically have.
Well, they still have one more move to make, too.
Do they?
Yeah, they're going to trade the expiring Myers Leonard contract for somebody.
Oh.
For people who want cap space either for next season. So it'll either be now or at the deadline.
I guess that I could. Yeah. I guess the Mo Harkless deal is probably
it's also
same
expiring.
Deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if
they really
wants
wanted
to get into the Myers Leonard sweepstakes, if you just watched the Western Conference Finals, the last 2 games, and not any other point in Myers Leonard's career, or you're interested in a guy with some pretty strong personal branding and a logo directly over his dick on his shorts, Myers Leonard.
Like, if they wanted to, couldn't they trade those 2 pieces for Kevin Love's contract?
I don't think the math works, but the spirit of that idea is very strong, and also they should absolutely trade for Kevin Love. Like, look, it's not great long-term planning to get Kevin Love, but it would transform their team, and the West is not going to be this entirely wide open again for a little while.
Right.
In my opinion. Like hobbled Warriors, disgruntled Rockets, desperately thirsty LA teams, and the Utah Jazz.
The Utah Jazz, we should talk about right now.
Yeah, I also think the Hezonja thing is weird because he's Croatian, and clearly Yusuf Nurkic is going to make an insulting T-shirt about the Bosnia-Croatia war.
All right. All right, the Utah Jazz. They added... These are great signings, man. They added Bojan Bogdanovic and Ed Davis, and they lost Derek Favors and Ricky Rubio. Now, here's the thing. Ed Davis is not a hologram. And is basically Derek Favors, right?
I mean,
he's
no,
worse,
but
he's not a hologram. He's an act. We can confirm he's a real person.
Well, he's like a backup center.
Yeah,
and he's not. I feel like with Derek Favors and Rudy Gobert, they didn't play together that well.
Mm-hmm.
But they kind of had to play together, and now. I don't totally know who their starting power forward is right now. Is it
Bojan, dude?
Is he the power forward?
Yeah, they're gonna play small, dude. It's gonna be because look.
I mean, I guess
Bojan and Ingles are the same size.
Yeah. Were you saying that you kind of felt like it shouldn't be legal?
Yes, it should not be legal to have Bojan and Joe Ingles on the same team. It's too much dumpy energy, and I love it way too much. Respect the dad bod.
I I will say that Bojan Bogdanovic at power forward is not maybe going to give you the rebounding you want from that position.
Isn't that what Rudy Gobert's supposed to do, though? Isn't he like, oh, he inhales all the rebounds, he's so good at defense, oh, respect him, way.
I'm just saying I probably want my power forward to at least get to 3 rebounds a game. Is that like a lot to ask? Maybe it is. But perimeter player, but yeah, this, whatever he does, it is weird that they have Ingles and Bogdanovic, but they both really shoot the lights out. And again, I would have maybe thought that the Pacers would value this more than having Jeremy Lamb, but whatever. Yeah, this
Basketball
is cool.
Reference has Joe Ingles listed as a power forward, actually, by the way.
I mean, how's his rebounding? Maybe Bojan plays the 3. Slow-Mo Joe? I didn't know that was his nickname. Well, he's pulling down 3.1, so he did pass that magic 3 rebound.
Hey, look, it's 4.6 per 36 minutes, though.
Oh, well, there you go. So project that to 48 minutes, and but it doesn't matter, dude. There's going to be a lot of rebounds, but they're going to be easy to get because Gobert's there. Man.
Yeah. And look, they're going to be fucking tight, dude. I like this Jazz
Are
team.
they the best team in the West right now, Joey?
It's pretty close.
Right?
Yeah. I love Mike Conley. I don't like Rudy Gobert. I'm sort of whatever on Donovan Mitchell, but man, I love these 2 frumpos they got, man.
I mean, Ed Davis is a lot of fun all the time.
I like Ed Davis a lot. If only Neil could have signed him to the Blazers.
Is Dante Exum gonna be able to play at all?
No, he'll be injured in training camp.
Still feel
I
like
love
they could.
Dante Exum.
And maybe this is Georges Niang's time to shine. a lot of Raul Neto moments.
All right. You know what the Spurs did, Sean?
The Spursiest fucking shit I've ever heard of.
They kept Rudy Gay, but then added Damari Carroll.
A guy who, if you'd told me he'd secretly been on the Spurs for 5 years, I would have been like, I guess I missed it, but makes a lot of sense. Look, when you have a franchise-wide commitment to the long 2, these are some great guys to have around. Pop's gonna love DeMar Carroll so much.
Yeah, it's Spursy as hell. All right, the Clippers brought back Patrick Beverly, and paid him a lot of money.
3 and 40, like that is definitely doubling Patrick Beverly's career earnings, right?
Oh, for sure. He made
he was paid
3 for 15 before. He was making 5 a year. Before.
And he was like not even making $1 million a year, I think, for Oklahoma City. Yeah, let's look at his career earnings through. Yeah, he had made $25 million for his career. So, hell yeah, Patrick Beverly.
Yeah, good for Patrick Beverly. I've heard people state that them signing Pat Beverly might be them signaling that they're out of the Kawhi sweepstakes, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's like there's worse guys to spend your cap space on. It's only just weird because of the makeup of the team right now, where they have 3 rookie guards and Lou Williams. But I guess the idea is, could they just play SGA at the 3 a lot?
I don't know, man.
He's really tall. Whatever, man. I guess it's never a bad idea to have Patrick Beverly on your team, I think.
Right. All right. The Phoenix Suns.
Uh-huh.
They signed Ricky Rubio, who one of our favorites. The NBA's second sweetest boy.
The sweetest boy is Giannis.
Giannis is, of course, the NBA's sweetest boy.
Ricky Rubio got a lot of money, Joey.
It's a really too much money for Ricky Rubio.
But Phoenix, for the first time in over 2 years, has a point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Joey.
I will say, I think Ricky Rubio's gonna help those. At least the happiness in that Phoenix Suns locker room.
I was gonna say, I think he's gonna be really good for Devin Booker. Like, Josh Jackson is beyond saving, but I think he's.
I think Devin Booker's beyond saving. But I do think he's going to help DeAndre Ayton.
I was going to say that too. Well, look, he does two things that no one else on the Phoenix Suns roster does, which is
pass and play defense.
Point guard and play defense. So just that alone, I can see how they find it invaluable. But also, it's so weird to look at the Suns and see how consistently terrible they are. And then you look at their contracts and you're like, how are there like 4 guys making double figures? And look, man, I'm just glad he's playing somewhere warm.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Doesn't he deserve that? Like,
yes.
It seems cruel to have a Spanish man trapped in Minnesota in the mountains all the time. Is that a mask?
All right, now let's talk about another team that did fucking weird shit today. Oh, go ahead.
Can I ask you one more question? Do you think Ricky Rubio will keep his look, or is that going to be a little too hot in Phoenix?
You know what I think he's going?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see a Ricky Rubio, like, mohawk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, it would be great. Yeah, because he likes to change his look when a relationship ends.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Ricky Rubio mohawk. I love it.
Yeah. Mustache and mohawk.
He is going to infuriate Sheriff Joe, too, who will not understand that Spain is a country and not part of Mexico.
All right. Let's talk about another team that did a bunch of weird shit today. The Kings paid Harrison Barnes a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Then paid Dwayne Dedmon a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Then paid Corey Joseph and Trevor Ariza a lot of money.
How much did Corey Joseph get again?
Give me a second.
Yeah.
$3 for $37 million.
That's the one that shocks me the most, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne Dedmon, it's so weird to me because he was such an anonymous warrior for a while that I'm like, well, all right, that's like for a team that has had a lot of stiffs at the center position that are sort of shaped like Dwayne Dedmon.
Yeah.
But now Dwayne Dedmon is like a knockdown 3-point shooter.
From the corners, yeah.
But they came out of nowhere where he like didn't even attempt a 3-point shot basically for years. He took one 3-pointer
Bud did it,
in
man.
2015 and then like going to Atlanta 1 year under Budenholzer, and he was a 38% free throw shooter, 3-point shooter last year and took 217 threes.
Yeah.
So like that one makes some sense, and they're letting Willie Cauley-Stein go.
It still seems like, look, Dwayne Dedmon though he's your classic, like, not to always pick on these guys, but it's like your classic dunked on player where like you like Dwayne Dedmon at $7 million a year. But once you get above there, it's like, you're paying that much for Dwayne Dedmon? You know what I mean? And I really like Dwayne Dedmon. I always signed Dwayne Dedmon in NBA 2K.
Yeah. But I would say with Dwayne Dedmon, what you're looking at is a team that has a lot of cap space, not a lot of curb appeal. Mm-hmm. And it's still too much for Dwayne Dedmon. but I don't think it is as dramatic an overpay for Harrison Barnes.
Well,
just because the small forward options available, especially in the next couple of years, are not wonderful.
The thing we need to talk about with Harrison Barnes, though, is the Instagram choice he made.
What
did you see that?
Did he do?
Here, hold on.
Harrison
I'll pull it
Barnes,
up.
He is a little bit churchy.
No. Look, I'm going to send it to you. And then I want you to tell me what sticks out here in this post.
Well, let me just say right now, when I go to Instagram, the two comments I see first are from Jermaine O'Neal and God Sham God.
Mm-hmm.
Jermaine O'Neal says, "Congratulations, my brother. Much deserved. God is good." That makes sense. God Sham God in all caps says, "God, don't make no mistake. Well deserved, my brother." Here's what it appears is happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's a freeze frame where Harrison Barnes is in focus and
He's
his
shooting
shot
a corner
is out
three.
of focus. But he is missing that shot.
He's missing it really badly.
And he's like really following through.
Uh-huh.
Now his
not a great
quote
sign
is,
for this contract, I gotta say.
His quote is, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen." Quote from Hebrews. But
he's missing that shot terribly.
Someone made fun of him for that. Oh no, it's just some Adidas dude. A lot of people are saying, "Why did you post yourself missing that shot?" And I think it might just be, I don't know. It's weird. It's not a good sign. That being said, this is not nearly the worst thing the Sacramento Kings can spend their money on. I've said this before. I feel like the match of city and player is tremendous.
Yeah, we like Harrison Barnes. Why Trevor Ariza, though? Let's get to that one.
Joey, how old is Trevor Ariza?
He's got to be 33, right?
I think he might even be a little older, but that seems right. He is. He just turned 34 today.
Mm-hmm. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. He is a 15-year NBA veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Look,
Teams
man,
like the Kings keep signing him thinking he's a small forward, but he is not a small forward anymore.
No. He's a power forward.
Yes.
And they also just signed Harrison Barnes,
who's also not really a small forward, who's a power forward.
Yeah, I mean he can do both. Like he's a flexible guy, but
sure. He's better at power forward though.
I think he's pretty acceptable at both.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're the Kings, you just signed Dwayne Dedmon to play center.
Mm-hmm.
You have Harry Giles and Marvin Bagley.
Yes.
Who play power forward.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really understand what Trevor Ariza is doing. Now it's possible that like second year is like really lightly guaranteed. You know, like all these things could be like very partially guaranteed in the second year, but also like how did it work out when the Suns?
Right, that's my question. It seems like
exactly the same way. Like,
he got traded back to the fucking Wizards.
Yeah, the two of the worst fucking teams in the NBA with totally dysfunctional teams. So, like, what's happening? And also, Corey Joseph, that is just way too much money for Corey Joseph. And I'm saying this as someone who feels fondly towards Corey Joseph, a Canadian trailblazer. You know, he's still pretty young, but it's weird. and didn't he have some streak of our friend Keith Parrish was tracking the amount of games where Corey Joseph was playing like 25 minutes and just like never scoring. It's just weird. He's not a good outside shooter. I think he's a pretty good defensive player, right?
Sure.
But I mean, I do think he's probably a pretty good defensive player, but you don't really need to give a defensive backup point guard $40 million for 3 years because
especially they still have Yogi Ferrell, right?
They do have Yogi Ferrell.
Isn't Yogi Ferrell like just as good as Corey Joseph?
The shape of his talents is Yogi Ferrell, I would say, is not a strong defensive player.
Sure, but I just mean they're both tiny backup point guards.
I don't think Corey Joseph is that small. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Yeah, he's like 6'3".
Oh, okay. I thought he was like 6'1" or something.
But I think he's like a defensive specialist, or he better be because he doesn't fucking score points. Look, it's befuddling. He does not have a basketball reference nickname, mainly meaning he hasn't caught on in China. But I wonder if Vlade just like remembers him as he's been on like smart teams get him, so maybe Vlade was like, well, he was on the Spurs and the Raptors, so
all right, and then finally, the Wizards paid Thomas Bryant too much money. Congratulations, Thomas Bryant.
I searched while I was making this Wizards rumors to see who else is on their radar. Do you know who else is on their radar?
Who?
Quinn Cook.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's from there, right?
I assume. I mean,
yeah. The Oklahoma City Thunder brought back Nerlens Noel and also added Mike Muscala.
Did they like flip Mike Muscala last summer? Didn't he come over in the Carmelo Anthony trade, and then they flipped him for Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot, and then after he was traded to the Clippers and then traded to God, he was on a lot of teams last year, Joey.
I don't know.
Atlanta to Oklahoma City to Philly to the Clippers to the Lakers.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but look, we don't have anything to say, but here's Mike Muscala rapping. All right, and then finally, one of Sean's favorite players, Thaddeus Young, signed with the Chicago Bulls.
I gotta say, this is a great Garpax move. 3 years and $41 million for Thaddeus Young. I guess that's a lot of money, but but like. He's 31. Mm-hmm. He just turned 31. You're getting him 31 through 33. Thaddeus Young is like good at everything. He's not great, maybe at anything, but like just a dude who plays both forward positions. He's like a pretty decent 3-point shooter, especially for a big, like really good defensive player. And for a team that, can use a little, they've got Otto Porter and then Lauri Markkanen are their two starting forwards.
Yeah.
Thad Young is like a perfect, I mean, look, Thad Young's a good addition to any team, but, he's just really going to help the Bulls. I love that. I love this signing, Joey. Jim Boylan, this is going to be his favorite player, Joey.
I mean, he probably does have an awesome soul, right?
He very clearly has an awesome soul. And, he's one of the only players in the NBA, in his career who's reached, Thaddeus Young is one of the only players in NBA history with over 1,700 free throw attempts, over 4,800 rebounds, over 1,200 assists, over 1,100 steals, and with nearly 410 made three-pointers. That's only him, LeBron James, Oscar Robertson, and Al-Farouq Aminu, weirdly.
Oh, well. Is that our show? Did we do them all?
I think we did them all.
Okay.
There's probably a lot of news probably broke while we were recording it. Thank God that they moved up the deadline, though, Joey.
Why did they do that? I like it so much better when it's midnight.
I think they were worried that Windhorse was going to die.
All right.
But also, Zach Lowe is so cranky. Even now, it would have thrown him off for like 2 weeks, and he's got to adjust to Croatian time. So, yeah.
So I'm going to say right now, we're probably only going to do one episode unless something really crazy happens, right? Well, this is a 2-hour episode.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean,
and then we'll do our Patreon on Friday. We're patreon.com.
We might have like a
pod.
Maybe we'll have like a quick reaction if Kawhi makes a decision.
Yeah.
I would say.
I'm just saying we were already putting 2 hours in your guys' feeds, and
yeah, bitches. We could make this a 2-parter like Dunked On, but
no, that's for cowards. Sean, what do you have to plug?
Come to the Round Ball Rock listener meetup on July 8th at the Tillman Fertitta Slot Machine at the Golden Nugget. Come see me.
9 p.m.
Yeah,
That's
9 p.m. See me on 8 p.m. on July 16th at Punchline Comedy Club in San Francisco. Probably about to get acquired by Tillman Fertitta. I wouldn't be surprised. I am co-headlining with Alex Cole. Lineup also includes Bucky Sinister, Anna Saragina, and Chris Thayer.
Call me Mike Jaws of the best kept secret. Coming from Atlanta where the Hawks stay screeching. I got 3 goals and I ain't talking about a hat trick. 1, win the championship. 2, make a smash it. 3, have a baby with my lady, then some grandkids. These other rappers shaky Charles backswing. Trying to find the recipe, I call them plankton. The flow so appealing. Best rapper in the league. Oh man, what a feeling.
Buying an iPhone 6. Maybe I should have written this in Ba so all you sheep could read it.
I have an iPhone 6, Joey. Not bragging, but
Sean, did you write a song?
I did. Look, I don't need to build it up anymore. It's called Katie and the Nets, and it's co-written with Bernie Taupin.
Got it. And trust the process.
Trust the process.
And shut it down. Someone stop signing people so we can go to sleep.
It's enough. Enough already. Hey, Woj. Brooklyn got more space in. They signed DeAndre Jordan and that guy who's a Freemason. And a ninja guy who's got 10 burner accounts. You're gonna hear a lot of talk about how the world ain't round. Say the Golden State Warriors pulled off a sign-in trade. Oh, but they're so capped out. Not like Katie and the Nets. Oh, Spencer Dinwiddie is wonderful. Jared Allen is a block machine. Joe Harris shoots so fine while Kyrie does a line. He's got a whole conspiracy theory. Katie and the Nets. Hey, Shams, Brooklyn stepped the silly. Their only lack is a working right Achilles. Katie's fighting with teenagers on Instagram. But this is why they gave a non-guaranteed year to Trevion Graham. Oh, Durant and Irving had to play her option. Oh, but they both opted out. Katie and the Nets. Oh, the Rock Nation is powerful. Got courtside seats for Damon Dash. They're getting open shots. They got 2 max slots. Barclays is gonna make a lot of cash. Oh, Katie and the Nets.
You know, if you really think about it, Shams is like the Bernie Taupin for Woj, which I guess means that Zach Lowe is the Billy Joel, since they tour together and do shows. Only Billy Joel would only drink 1 single beer, and then he wouldn't crash his car. And he'd probably yell at people at concerts in Croatia instead of Russia.
Oh, children of Brooklyn, have you seen her again? Too late, you're all priced out. Just Katie and the Nets. Remember when Jason Kidd spilled his coke and Jason Williams killed that guy? They traded Dr. J, suspended Michael Ray. You know they've rarely been a winning team. Oh, Katie and the Nets.